So you know that hit show that absolutely everyone was talking about? Well, one YouTuber decided to do something completely wild. Recreate every single game. For real, with a huge cash prize.
And when I say huge, I mean the scale of this was just bonkers. They got exactly 456 real people to come and compete. Just like in the show. I mean, can you even imagine the logistics of that?
So what were they all fighting for? A pretty life-changing sum of money, $456,000. The idea was simple, right? $1 for every single person who started, but only one person takes home the whole pot.
The rules were as simple as they were brutal. You just had to survive every game. That's it. You fail once, at any point, and you're gone. So how on earth did they start cutting down this massive crowd?
Well, the first part of this whole competition really only had one purpose: mass elimination. The goal was just to thin out the herd, you know? And fast.
First up, you guessed it, the iconic red light, green light. So picture this. You have 30 minutes to get across this giant field. But if you're caught moving when you're not supposed to, bam! A device on your chest pops and you're out. The tension was just incredible right from the start. People were getting eliminated for just like twitching.
And the results of that first game? Absolutely staggering. They cut the competition by nearly half. They went from 456 people down to just 232 survivors, all in one game.
So next, it was the honeycomb game, a game of pure, steady-handed focus. You've got 10 minutes to carve a shape out of the super brittle cookie, you know, a circle or a triangle. Tough, but you might make it. But that umbrella? Oh man, if you got the umbrella, it was pretty much game over.
Now, after all that pressure, Mrbeast threw in a brilliant little twist. He walked out and offered every single person left $4,000 in cash to just quit right then and there. And you know what? A bunch of people took the money and ran. And just like that, they were down to 120. This is where things really started to shift.
Yeah, with the numbers way down, the games changed. It wasn't just about your own survival anymore. It became all about teamwork and strategy and sometimes betrayal.
Game 3 was tug of war. And this was just a raw test of pure strength. Teams of 10 squaring off, pulling on a rope over this giant foam pit. And when a team lost, the whole group got yanked right off the platform together. It was actually pretty spectacular.
And this is where that foes part really started to show. Choosing teams got ruthless. I mean, look at this quote from one of the guys putting his team together. "Sorry, no girls allowed." It just gives you a peek into the cold calculations people were making to stay in the game.
And just as you'd expect, tug of war was brutally efficient. The 120 contestants were sliced exactly in half, leaving just 60 people still in the running for that big prize.
But then came what was maybe the most emotionally brutal game of them all, marbles. The goal seemed simple enough, right? Just win all your opponent's marbles. But the catch was just devastating. You had to play against the person you'd picked as your best friend in the competition. Only one of you could move on.
This just captures the personal cost perfectly. Two of the contestants were actually best friends and roommates in real life, and they got paired up. One of them said, "I have to come home to the house we live in." Gonna be a bit awkward. Talk about real-world consequences.
So after the emotional train wreck of the marbles game, the few who were left had to face a challenge that wasn't about friendship or strength. It was about pure nerve.
So, after the heartbreak of marbles, 30 people were still standing. But they needed to get down to 16 for the next game. So what did they do? They played a quick round of dakchi, you know, that paper flipping game from the show. The first 16 to flip their opponent's tile got to move on. The field narrowed down in a flash.
And that next game was the glass bridge. And wow, this turned into a masterclass in psychological warfare. With the clock ticking down, the players at the back just refused to move, forcing the people in front to take those 50-50 risks. It got so bad that Mrbeast himself had to step in and say, "Hey, if nobody moves, I'm just keeping the money." In the end, time just ran out, and 4 players who hadn't made it across were all eliminated at the exact same time.
So, from 456 people, it all came down to 6. After getting a nice steak dinner, they all gathered for one last, very simple game to decide who was walking away with all that cash.
But here's a really interesting behind-the-scenes decision. The final game wasn't actually Squid Game. Why not? Well, the producers realized that almost nobody in the American cast even knew how to play it. So they swapped it out for something everyone knows: musical chairs. It was simple, it was tense, and honestly, it made for a perfect, easy-to-follow final showdown. And let's talk about the money on the line in that last game. The difference was just massive. Second place walked away with a nice $10,000. Not bad. But the winner, they took home the entire $456,000 jackpot.
In the end, after all the chaos, the strategy, the luck, and the heartbreak, one player was left sitting in that final chair. Contestant 079 officially became the winner of the first ever real-life Squid Game.
But here's the final mind-blowing number to think about. The prize money was a life-changing $456,000. But the total cost to produce this whole spectacle? Over $3.5 million. It really makes you think about the insane scale of entertainment these days and what it costs just to get the whole world to watch.